Hello, hello. All right, we are going live today. Grand Rising, Grand Rising, Grand Rising. All right, well, I am on Facebook, and we are likely going to be broadcasting from Clubhouse. So if you want to join us there on the Law Club, you can do that. The UNA Law Club. So broadcasting live, Grand Rising, Grand Rising. Hello. All right. Today, what are we discussing? We are discussing the borders. The borders are disappearing. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. As we move into this fifth dimension, the borders are disappearing. That's right. I said it. What am I talking about? How strong is your integrity? So, y'all know I'm in another country now. I had to get back out of the country, and I'm in Mexico, Mazatlan. So, I am excited to be broadcasting to you here. I was going to do this from the ocean, on the ocean view, and it was so noisy out there. I was like, I'm not going to be able to even hear myself. Nobody will hear me speak. It was beautiful. I did a video earlier today. I had to do my journaling because I need to start chronicling my travels and all the things that I get into, and a little bit better, which I hadn't done. I was in Argentina touring all of Argentina. I have very few shots of what was going on there, so I got to get better at chronicling my travels. So anyway, yeah, I was down at the ocean. I did a chronicle on that. Y'all can go see that on Diva Larie's page. And what I did out there, I just wanted to speak to the spirits, and I had my spirits with vessels with me, and my spirits without vessels were with me. Grand Rising Shakur. And so, I'm happy to be here with you guys. So it is 7 here. It's 9 Eastern. So I'm 2 hours behind. And, what we decided to do, because we got a lot of people on the East Coast that'll say, hey, I wanted to catch your session. And, by the time they wake up, we're going off. So, we pushed it back a little bit. So we started at 9 Eastern. And it's 7 here. And I was actually up. I wanted to see the sun come up on the water. So I was actually up at, 6 o'clock, just taking it in, taking the view in, taking the beautiful breeze and all of that. So it's just gorgeous here. So, and I'm trying to get my light going on here with in my place. So anyway, so now, Grand Rising to everybody. Thank you all for joining us. Today we are talking about the borders are disappearing. The borders are disappearing. How strong is your integrity? Now, I'm going to want y'all to come on. Let's see, maybe I can bring Princess on if she's on. Let's see. If she's able to come on, I'll bring her on. She's in transit. So anyway, we're preparing, and we're going to deal with this topic today, which is the borders are disappearing. How strong is your integrity? And let's talk about what we're saying when we say the borders are disappearing. All right. As we move into the fifth dimension and we move into our paradise, what's going on? Where is your mind? What are you looking at in your mind? Because that's where the real world is, in your mind. All right, so let's see if I can maybe bring Princess on here. Oh, there she is. You want to come on, Princess? Let me know. I'll bring you on. Princess likes to do our resets, so, and then she can communicate between us and because my cell phone, my little, what do you call that thing? iPad, iPhone, whatever it is. it's not working here right now in Mexico because the signal is not the same. So at any rate, let's do this thing. Let's get into it. The borders are disappearing. How strong is your integrity? You want to come on, Jamie? Princess, you want to come on? Let me know. All right, so let's get into this thing. First of all, I want to thank the spirits for allowing us to be here together. Thank you all, my spiritual vessels, for joining us and supporting UNA and what we're doing and in our sessions, in our morning Clubhouse sessions. And I want to get some feedback from you all on this, because this always deals with your mind and your mindset and how we're viewing things. As we go into this next phase that we're in fifth dimension, y'all see my 5G to 5D t-shirts. We stay winning, because that's what we do. We stay winning. I don't know if y'all can see that. All right. So, Princess, do you want to come on? Let me know, and then I'll bring you on. All right, so here we go. When we're talking about the borders are disappearing, we're talking about new technologies that are arising. We're talking about new inventions that are coming up to make it where the way we have been traveling, the way we have been kept in what we call cages, mental cages, physical cages, that is disappearing, because there is new technology becoming available to us. There is new information becoming available to us. So as we learn who we are, that's one way these borders are starting to disappear. And that means, okay, so for example, let's explain some of these borders that we have. Part of it has to do with our mind, and really all of it has to do with our mind and not understanding who we are. So let's talk about some of the borders. With respect to the borders outside of us, of course, we see these borders of this country, this state, that state, all of these different borders. Those are really, they're borders on paper. All right, those are borders that have kept us to the point where we are encaging ourselves, or this system has encaged us with respect to, all right, you're in this state. This is where the state you come from. That's where you come from. That's a border. That is a cage. You're in this country. That's another border. It's a cage where they're keeping us tied into this, and then you've got to have an ID in order to be able to go from one cage or cell or prison cell to another one. All right, that's a border. And I mean, really, it's how you look at it, because some people are happy in their cage. I understand it, because I remember when I was in South America, Argentina, and I saw this bird, and the bird had the ability to fly away if it wanted to. But it was this big, beautiful bird, but it always would go back into that cage because that's where it felt safe. And it was like the doors are open for you to fly and go wherever on this planet you want to go. But that bird was like, no, I'm going to go on back in this cage, because I know I'm going to get fed in this cage. And that's where it chose to stay. So the thing is, some of us, we choose to stay in our, some people, they've never left the country, and they choose to believe that, this is the best place in the world to be, and that's okay. If that's what you want to do, that's fine. But then they also choose to complain about their situation when they have full ability to go to somewhere else, but they have chosen to encage themselves in whatever that surrounding is. Some people choose to stay in their same neighborhood. They complain about this crime, that crime. They complain about it. But you have the right to move. Well, I'm going to just stay here because, the people need me. Okay, well, then don't complain about where you've chosen to stay. All right. If you are in a place where you find that there is no peace, and there is no love, no joy, no happiness, If you choose to stay, you're the problem, because what that is a reflection of your mind. All right. Um, so those are borders. Those are, a lot of it has to do with the mental border, the border that we have chosen to believe, with respect to what state we're from. So that's a mental border. All right, now getting on to the physical borders, or entrapment or encagement. Spiritually, this vessel is a border or a cage for your spirit. Your spirit, and I say spirits because some people want to have issues with that word. That's your issue. Spirits are basically bacteria. You have created a vessel with all of these bacteria within them, and you have the ability to control them. You can control your spiritual entities within, but you are used to this vessel. All right. When you understand who you are as a spirit, you can get outside of this vessel and go into another one. That's another story. We'll get deeper into that at some point. But again, this vessel is an enclosure. It is a cage. It is a cell. It is an entrapment for your spiritual entity. Now you have the ability to get outside of it, just like that bird could get outside that cage and go anywhere it wants. Your spirit can get outside this vessel and go anywhere it wants. It does it all the time when you're sleeping. It's called astral traveling, right? Again, we talk about the real world is in your mind, and whatever you're seeing, all of your cells within your vessels have to create that. They're going to create it. So I'm going to get into this. Princess, do you want to come on? Let me know if you want to get in here so you can do the resets for. Let me see if I can bring you on. All right, I'm trying to see if I can bring Princess on. All right. All right, so it's adding her. So, again, I talked about being an entrapment. So,
Good rise, everybody.
Grand Rising, how are you?
Wonderful.
Excellent. Can they hear you in Clubhouse?
Yeah, there's a delay on the relay, so I'm hearing both, right?
Okay. So, okay, good. So if you want to do a reset, you're welcome to. But yeah, they can, if so that they can pick it up in Clubhouse. That's great.
Okay. Well, yeah, we want to thank everyone for joining us here live today in Clubhouse and on Facebook. We're here live with Diva Laree, speaking on There Are Borders and Strong is Your Integrity. Guys, make sure you have a pen, a notebook handy. Take notes and pay attention. And this is some important information that's beneficial to you, and you. We want to thank you for rising early this morning and sharing the time of your mind and your space and your energy with us. We want everyone in Clubhouse that is visiting us, be sure to hit that plus sign at the bottom and ping as many friends as you can into the room. Welcome them and have them on and join us on the conversation. If you will also go to the upper left corner, you'll see a little greenhouse next to UNA Law Club. Click that and join the club. Actually, I think it offers you to follow. So go ahead and follow our club. That will keep you abreast of events as they arise, so you can join us whenever we go live. And we want to thank Andrea. Special shout out to Sunshine this morning for helping us out. And we want to thank Diva for sharing Mazatlan with us this morning. All that said, I want to thank you. After the session, go invite you up to speak. Raise your hand. We'll bring you up on stage. Mute your mic, and then we'll call on you when we open the question and answer. Thank you again. Thank you, Diva.
Thank you, Princess. All right, so now, and let me know if you want to if you have anything you want to add to this, because I'm just going through again, the borders are disappearing. And I was just
Okay.
describing what the borders are. And I talked about the borders that, with the states, there's that border, there's the borders with these different countries. Um, and even these vessels have their own border, because as spiritual entities, we have the ability to transcend them, get outside of them, move back into them when we want. And I talked about that bird, that parrot, that had the ability to leave that cage, but chose to go back into that cage. I talk about, how we have people who have the ability to leave their situation, whether it be in a house where they're getting beaten, all right, or in a neighborhood where they're choosing to stay and they're constantly complaining about it. They're not happy, but they're choosing to stay there. And that's all mental. So again, we're talking about the borders and how now the borders that I'm talking about are the borders where we see with the different states, and how there's technology going to come into play that will change our whole way of travel.
All right.
They're going to change our whole way of travel. An airport is not going to be necessary. A bus station is not going to be necessary. All right. We're talking about a situation where it's not going to be someone who's going to be able to regulate us from going to different places. So it's this is going to be a life-changing thing, and the borders are going to disappear. Now, with that being said, again, as the borders disappear, there's some things that we have to keep in mind, because I'm talking about these technologies that are coming up, and the rules. A lot of these rules are going out of the window. A lot of these things that we know as countries, again, the borders are going to disappear. And the thing is, we've got to make sure that we have our integrity straight, because if our integrity is not there, then the problem is going to be that um, we're going to be consumed. All right, so let me get on with this and bring this around, bring this clear. All right, with the borders disappearing, there's certain laws that go out of the window, and yeah, you won't be beholden to the state anymore. The United States corporation, you won't be beholden to those laws, but you're still going to be beholden to the universal laws. And that is important because, as we talked about, the things are starting to manifest much faster. All right, so as things start to manifest faster, um, your thoughts, your every thought is going to play a role in what you see in your dimension. This is important that we understand this, because yes, now these borders are disappearing, and we've had these laws, and some of us have been protected, just like, again, the bird is protected by that cage. Once it gets in that cage, it's harder for things to come at it. The cat can't get to it when it's in the cage.
Yeah.
So what you've got to understand and recognize is that if you are thinking certain thoughts, this is why we talk about meditating and controlling what you're thinking, because again, whatever you're thinking, that's going to manifest. So this is why you want to be careful about what you're feeding yourself. Are you watching scary movies? Are you watching horror film flicks, and movies that make you fear certain things, zombie movies, those type of things? Are you watching that? Well, you got to understand, you're feeding your mind something, and that's what it's going to manifest for you.
Yeah.
If that's what you So this is the thing that we're not getting. And again, as I speak about
I
the
think it
borders
grows.
disappearing, All right, can you hear me now?
Yep, we got
Can you
frozen.
hear me now?
Yes, yes.
Okay. All right. So when we're talking about the borders disappearing, what you've got to keep in mind is that when you are feeding things to your mind, what you're feeding is what your spirits within, what your vessel has to manifest for you without. So this is why you want to be careful about what you're feeding yourself. See, again, um, we are manifesting everything in our dimension. And if you're full of fear, then you're going to manifest that cage for yourself. All right? That cage that bird was in, you're going to manifest that for yourself because of what you fed yourself. So as we go into this time, again, remember the borders are going to disappear depending on what you're feeding yourself. However, some of you all are going to create another border for yourself because of the way you think, because of the fact that you choose not to know who you are, not only on a spiritual level, but on a physical level and on a legal level. You choose not to know who you are, so you're going to create another border for yourself. Now, let me get into this. For some of us who are choosing to learn who we are and know who we are, there are going to be borders that disappear again, and then there are going to be some that appear because of the way our mindset is. Now, again, let me go back to this. Let's say you come from under the state and you learn who you are, and you understand that the state doesn't have any authority over you. You understand that the United States corporation doesn't have any authority over you. You understand that all of these other countries are just states, and they really don't have any authority or control over you. Um, you have escaped what we would say is Egypt. All right, that's good. But what you have to recognize is that you're going into the quote unquote wilderness now. So when I'm going to compare this with uh, that biblical story about the Israelites leaving Egypt. All right, when Moses so-called led these Israelites out of Egypt, yeah, he was supposedly saving them from the Pharaoh and then leading them into another land where they could be free. But they were out in the wilderness now. And some of them lost their lives. Why? Because they didn't have integrity. They didn't have integrity and they were not truly ready to be out there. So, what was that like for them? They left Egypt and then they get out in the wilderness and they start complaining about any and everything. Well, we out here, man. At least when we was in Egypt, we had some steak and potatoes we could eat. We had what's this myrrh stuff? What's this? We sick of this. So we need to take a vote because we think we're gonna go back. Because we don't like this. Let's take a vote. Now, here somebody is who's gone and rescued, quote unquote, these people from Egypt, and he's trying to take them to a place of freedom. But these people are not truly ready for freedom, and they were complaining about what they didn't have once they got out into the wilderness. I hope y'all are still hearing me. Let me know if you're still with me. So they're complaining. Again, the borders had disappeared. They were able to transcend that Egypt, and then they get out here and they have no integrity. They have a lack of respect, and then they lost their lives out here in the quote unquote wilderness. So understand this: when you recognize and understand who you are, yeah, you're not beholding to these laws of the state anymore. Yeah, you're not beholding to the laws of the Constitution anymore. However, however, the deal is you are absolutely beholden to the laws of the universe. You're beholden to the universal laws. And so if you find your way to have a lack of integrity, you are going to end up losing your life in what we would call the wilderness, because you are not respecting the highest of laws. And so what ends up happening is, some of them lost their lives, some of them ended up finding themselves in another cage, in another cage. All right, so now what we've got to recognize is that there are different uh, cages that we're inside of, not only as spiritual entities with being inside of this physical vessel, but there are rules and laws that we have to adhere to. Now, when we're talking about these states or what have you, again, these were created by us. Remember us as spiritual entities that have been here before. So if you want to transcend them, make sure that you recognize that, first of all, these are some things that we created in a past time. Second of all, it, once we get outside of them again, we want to make sure that our our integrity rather is intact, and that we have a spiritual connection, and understand that everything is one. Understand these universal laws. All things happen for a reason, and that this being in this third dimension is simply us learning a lesson that we forgot, and we had to learn to come back in here and learn in these vessels. So let's make sure we get that lesson when we're transcending and going into this fifth dimension. Let's make sure we maintain our integrity, so that we don't create cages for ourselves. We don't create boundaries and borders for ourselves again. With these vessels, we're going to learn to transcend them and make them do what we need them to do in the fifth dimension on another level. Again, I want to know if I have anybody who has any comments, any questions. Jamie, let's see if Grand Rising Chandra, Divine, Justice, thank you for joining us. Shakira's in the house. Let's see. No sound. What is that? Can y'all hear me okay? Jamie says no sound. Is my audio cutting out? Let me see. If y'all can hear me, let me know. Can you hear me, Jamie? Let me see if I can do a sound check. So once again, I want to thank everybody for joining us, just in case you all can still hear me. I want to thank everybody for joining us, and I want to say grand rising to everyone. Okay, you can hear me? Jason's in the house. Thank you. Jason with the sea moss, the apple. What is it? Apple banana we've got. What else do you have? The blueberry, and he has the mango sea moss. Yes, with those 90 something vitamins in it that the body needs. So you'll want to get that sea moss. So check out where you can. You said it's low. I gotta get this thing fixed. Let me see. Let me see if I can check this. Now, is it still low? Can you hear me, Divine? I don't know what's going on. I might need to just switch. Can you hear me? Let me know if you can hear me, if it's still low. I'm trying to fix this thing. I don't know, sometimes when I tamper with it, it does something special. All right, can y'all hear me? Let me know before I continue. But yeah, get that CMOS in the event that you all can hear me. I don't know what's going on with my little cell phones. And Divine, anybody, somebody, everybody, say something if you can hear me. Princess, are you still there? Let me know. Oh, I'm just trying to see if my how bad my volume is. Let me see if I can get in here into UNA. Uh, let's see. Anybody? Can y'all hear me? Y'all not telling me nothing. Is it still low? Is it good? Halo? Halo? All right, I don't even want to continue until y'all let me know if you can hear me. Um, let me see if I can get in here. I'm in UNA America. All right, can y'all hear me? Divine. I see the hearts, but y'all are not telling me if you can hear me. Can anybody hear this message, or is it still low? Y'all talk to me. Talk to me. Halo, can you hear me? Or do I need to leave this thing and come back in? Anybody? Let me see. All right. Y'all not saying anything? Y'all just gonna. All right. I'm gonna get out of here. Are y'all hearing me? All right. Bye. Bye bye.